When something so small can change everything you thought you knew, that's exactly what just happened to me. I was going through my computer, fortune through my computer, just clearing out old folders, deleting things I didn't need anymore. It was supposed to be a normal day, nothing unusual, but then, buried deep in a folder I didn't even remember creating, there it was, a file. The name of the file stopped me cold. It had your name written on it. No dates, no other words, just your name. At first I thought it was nothing, maybe something I saved before and forgot. But when I clicked on it, my whole body froze. Because inside that file were documents, photos and recordings I have never seen before. And they were all about you. How could something like this even exist? Baby, I don't remember ever saving any of this. Yet here it is, every detail about your life. Things only you should know. And that's when the fear hit me. If I didn't put this here, then who did? Who has been on my computer? And why would they create a hidden file with your name? I opened one of the documents, and it listed details I didn't even know about you. Personal things, things you never told anyone. How could it be written out so clearly in a file on my laptop? My heart started racing, because this isn't just about some random folder. This is about someone knowing too much, someone watching too closely. And if they know this much about you, what else do they know? But here's the part that terrified me most. At the bottom of one of those documents was a sentence, just one line. It said, "The truth must stay hidden." Baby, what truth? What are they hiding from us? And why would they use your name as the key to it all? I tried to close the file, but another folder appeared instantly, like it opened on its own. And when I looked inside, I almost dropped the laptop. It had time-stamped notes about me, about the exact moment I opened the file, like someone was watching me live. Do you understand what this means? Baby, this isn't just a file. This is a trap, a warning, or maybe even both. And the fact that your name is at the center of it makes me wonder what danger you're really in. Now, here's the scariest part. When I tried to delete it, a message flashed on the screen. It said, "Do not try to erase her." Her, baby, that means you. Someone doesn't just know about you. They're protecting you or controlling you. And that's when I realized this isn't just about what I found today. This goes deeper. And I'm terrified to know just how deep it goes. But there's one thing I can't stop thinking about. If this file was meant for me to find, then maybe it's not just a warning, maybe it's a message. And maybe it's telling me that what's coming next is far worse than what I've already seen. I didn't sleep. I kept the screen on and stared at the files, like they might speak if I waited long enough. The fear made my hands small and quick. I clicked through everything, slow and careful, as if I could unsee what I found by touching it gently. The hidden folder had layers, not just a list, but folders inside folders, like a stack of boxes someone folded around a secret. There were receipts from places you had never said you visited. There were maps with pins where you had been that week. There were voice recordings, short clips where I could hear you breathe, laugh, even sing the line of that song you hate when I hum it wrong. Those sounds were enough to make my chest tight. The recordings weren't labeled found or collected. They were labeled with times. Exact times that matched your day down to the minute. That means someone logged your life like it was a clock they could read whenever they wanted. I checked the file details. Next, the document properties showed something weird. The files were created from a user account that wasn't mine. The name of the account was a string of letters and numbers I didn't recognize. The timestamps showed remote access, just hours before I opened the folder. Someone else was in that drive recently, watching what I watched now. Then I opened an image. It was a photo taken in your kitchen. The angle was wrong for a selfie. It looked like it was taken from a corner, near the ceiling. For a second, I thought it was old. But the calendar on the wall in the picture had that exact sticker you put up last month. Someone had been inside your home without you knowing. The metadata on that photo showed GPS coordinates. When I dropped them into a map, the pin sat exactly on your street. The file also had the word confirm in its tag. Someone was checking location, like they were ticking boxes on a list. I opened the recording next. Your voice was in it, on the phone, whispering a question to someone. Then another voice answered, low, calm, and not yours. The listener said something I couldn't make out at first, then repeated a phrase in a tone that made my teeth ache. Keep her quiet. Hearing that line in your voice's echo pushed the room into a small, cold place. The voice sounded like a warning, but it could also be an order, which meant someone wasn't just watching, they were planning. I kept digging. There were bank screenshots from a card with your initials, purchases at odd hours, taxis called to empty lots, a payment to a storage unit under a name I had never seen. The receipts were stapled to notes, dates, abbreviations, a single word circled many times. That one word read like a goal. Then a folder called logs made my stomach drop. It had a list of IP addresses, lines of numbers that show where a computer was when it was online. I don't know tech well, but I learned enough to copy and paste them into a lookup. Each address traced back to places I could almost believe. A coffee shop, a courier depot, a local library. But the pattern was clear. Someone used public places so their trail would blur. Inside a tiny text file, someone had written a short note to themselves. Check camera 3, she's alone. Camera 3. That meant there were cameras placed where only you would be alone. The thought of being seen in private felt sickening. I tried to find how the files got onto my computer. A hidden sync program sat in the background, running like a quiet engine. I traced it to an account synced with a cloud storage that had a different email attached. When I called the cloud provider, an automated voice said the account was in use from a device I didn't own. My throat closed. Someone had tied their cloud to my hard drive and was using it like a mirror of your life. Then something else appeared on the screen. Without my asking, a new file popped up. A short video, shaky, taken from outside your window. You were there, moving in your kitchen at night, unaware. The file name read, last night. Confirm. Whatever confirm meant, it was not for me. Seeing you on that clip felt like a violation that lived on the screen. I wanted to scream, but my voice felt weak and small in the room. I closed my laptop for a minute and tried to breathe. I thought maybe phone backups hold answers. I opened your old email, scanned old attachments, and found a receipt from a clinic you once mentioned. But beside it was a note in a handwriting I didn't know. She sleeps alone 2-4, good window. That line read like a schedule. Then my phone chimed. A message from an unknown number. Stopped, it will not end well. My thumb hovered over the reply, but I didn't press send. Whoever texted knew I was looking. That meant they had eyes on me too. Someone isn't content with watching. They track who looks. They warn, they threaten, and they know our moves. I thought about calling you immediately, but what would I say? I found the file. There are photos from your home. Would you believe me if I told you someone had been following your days like a list? Instead, I did something stupid brave. I decided to test the watchers. I made a small fake file and left it in a shallow folder with a title that sounded tempting to a spy. private underscore notes underscore final dot docs. Then I watched my network monitor while I went to make coffee. If someone accessed it, their tool would leave a ping. I needed to know if it moved in real time. When I returned, my heart nearly stopped. The monitor showed connection attempts from an IP I did not recognize. They touched the file and left a tiny footprint, a single line in a log, opened 003. They were quick, clean, like someone who practiced covering tracks. The watcher wasn't clumsy. They weren't an amateur. They were patient, quiet, and prepared. My head swam with one thought. Who? Was it someone close to you who wanted to control you? Was it a stranger who shone a light on private things for reasons I could not imagine? Or was it someone who thought watching us would make them powerful? Then the lights in my apartment flickered, not the usual blink of the city, but a slow dip, like someone touched the fuse. My laptop screen dimmed for a second, and the camera light on the edge glowed faintly, as if it had just been turned on. I felt a prick of heat behind my neck. I stood up slowly, every muscle ready to bolt. Through the window, I saw a car idling across the street, its engine whispering. The driver's window was down, and a figure sat very still, hands folded, eyes on the building. When I looked away for a second and back again, the car was gone. A quiet knock sounded at my door. Not two quick taps, not a casual ring, a single deliberate push with enough time for someone to listen to whether I moved. I held my breath. The laptop open and the file still on the screen, and I knew one thing with terrible clarity. Whatever this is, it's not just a file, it's a message meant to start a chain reaction. The knock at the door was patient. Not loud, it waited like someone giving you one chance to decide. For a moment I thought about staying quiet, about letting whoever it was go, but the files on my screen felt heavy, like they wanted answers now. So I moved. I opened the door just a crack. A delivery box sat on the mat. No person. On top, a plain card with a single line written in block letters. You found the file. Good. The card smelled faintly of smoke. My fingers shook as I picked it up. The box was light but important. Inside, a small USB drive rested on crumpled tissue paper. No return address, no note beyond that card. Whoever left it wanted me to take the next step, and nothing more. I thought about calling someone, the police, anyone, but my voice felt small. Instead, I took the drive back inside, locked the door, and sat down slowly. Every sound in my apartment loud as a drum. The screen still showed the folder with your name, still full of things no one should ever collect. When I plugged the USB in, a new folder sprang up on the desktop like it had been waiting for me. Inside was a single file named only instructions.txt. I clicked it with a hand that did not steady. The file did not list threats. It gave choices. Option A. Stop now. Walk away. Forget you ever looked under that cane. Option B. No more. Open the attached. The tone was flat, like someone who has seen this work many times. At the bottom, choose once. Someone had built this like a game with clear rules. They wanted me to pick, and every choice felt like stepping into deeper water. I scrolled down and saw something else. A short video clip. It showed a door. Not mine, not yours. A different flat door, with a small sticker by the handle. In the corner of the frame, a timestamp flicked forward to night. The camera held on the door until the handle moved. It felt like a promise that the world outside my room was already part of their plan. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not pick up, but curiosity pushed me. A voice came through, calm, close, and precise. Don't panic, they said. We're careful. We don't want harm. We want truth. Bring her name to the place in the clip. Midnight. The line cut out. The voice sounded neither cruel nor kind. It sounded businesslike, like someone arranging a meeting rather than a crime. That made it worse, because calm can hide anything. I thought of you sleeping, of the private moments the files had exposed. The choice on the screen felt impossible. I could go to the place in the video and learn who was behind this, or I could refuse and try to erase everything. But the files had already proven that erasing is not simple. So I texted you a short message. Don't go anywhere tonight. I'll handle this. Then I erased it, then sent it again, because my thumb fumbled. The reply came fast. Okay, be careful. Your trust steadied me for a second. Trust is a small flame in a wind like this. It keeps you moving when your legs want to stop. I grabbed the jacket and left the apartment with nothing but the USB and my phone. Outside, the street was nearly empty. A few late lights burned in windows. The place from the clip was several blocks away, an old building with an awning and a narrow side door. When I got close, a man in a cap crossed the street and disappeared down an alley. He never looked back. At the building, I paused under the awning and watched the side door. Time crawled. The clock on my phone whispered closer to midnight. Then the door opened and a woman stepped out. She wore a scarf low on her head and a tired look in her eyes. She held a small envelope in her hand and walked straight past me like she had a mission. She acted like she belonged to the street, but her hand shook as she slid the envelope under a grate by the door. That small twitch told me she wasn't acting alone. I moved faster and picked the envelope up. Inside was a single photograph. It showed a small meeting room, a circle of chairs, and a person in the center with a file open. On the table, a card with your name sat like a landmark. The photo had a note scribbled on the back. They meet when the moon is thin. Then my phone buzzed again. A map pin with a single word, corner. The pin pointed to a cafe 2 blocks away. Someone wanted me to go deeper into this web. I sat and watched people pass until the cafe closed. On the empty street, a shadow moved toward me, then stopped. It was the woman from the building. This time she looked at me and lifted one finger to her lips. A signal to be quiet. She handed me a scrap of paper folded into a thin square. When I opened it, a single line read, "You are seen. Not all who watch are cruel. Trust one." Someone was playing both sides. That small line could be a lie, or it could be a key. I thought about leaving the city that night, run to a place where no one knows our name. But the files had the map of your life. Running felt like leaving the whole house of truth to a stranger. Then I heard a sound behind me, a soft footstep on the pavement. Not many steps, not the sound of a crowd. A figure stood there, hands folded, face in shadow. The person spoke in a voice that trembled with something like guilt. If you want answers, you need to accept the truth before you see it. The words were a riddle and a warning at once. Truth can be brutal. Sometimes the one who gives answers also pulls the knife. The figure turned and walked away before I could ask anything more. In my hand, the envelope felt like a heart beating fast. I stood on the empty street thinking of the files, of the camera, of the message telling me to come. Every step I'd taken had been walked under someone's eye. Then my phone lit up with one last message from the unknown number. Midnight, corner of the small market. Come alone. Do not bring light. The line ended with a simple dot. No name. No goodbye. The next move would shape everything. If I went, I might learn who built this net. If I stayed away, the watchers would think fear had won. And while I stood there, a slow siren rolled past in the distance, like a reminder that the city never sleeps for long.